Remember, no matter what the past says about you, it is reflecting and embodying and seeming to manifest one thing only, the orphan mentality. And it is embodying the results of your very definite thinking processes. Because you had to think in order to come up with the definitions that say a succession of good jobs with increasing responsibility means you are a person of substance, that you are respectable, and that you are valuable. Someone had to think that up. It isn't true. You see? But because it sounds so good and it's so pleasing, you know what? It makes you really reluctant to abandon being an orphan. It makes you really reluctant to step over the threshold into that natural condition of your being in which your every need is met because it's the nature of being itself to identify itself, to manifest itself, to experience itself wholly, fully, with nothing withheld from it. And so everything is, for lack of better words, provided to you. Those words have meaning for an orphan. But for one who is awake, everything is you. You are wholeness, from which nothing is left out infinitely. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to behave in a certain way in order to experience it. It is your birthright. Your history tells you what you are and how good you are at being it. It tells you whether you're a good person or a bad person, a good orphan or a bad orphan. But because it's only telling you whether you're a good orphan or a bad orphan, it isn't telling you anything about you. Do you see that? Because you are the son or daughter of God, the wholeness of being embodied by God, not by your actions, right where you are. Right where you are aware. You can hold on to the past only through guilt. For guilt establishes that you will be punished for what you have done, and thus depends on one-dimensional time proceeding from past to future. No one who believes this can understand what always means. When you hear the word always, you tend to think of it in terms of time, endless time. But always can be somewhat, the meaning of the word always can, in a limited way, be understood as synonymous with wholeness. Infinite wholeness. No one who believes this, I'm going to back up. You can hold on to the past only through guilt, for guilt establishes that you will be punished for what you have done, and thus depends on one-dimensional time, proceeding from past to future. No one who believes this can understand what always means, and therefore guilt must deprive you of the appreciation of eternity. You are immortal because you are eternal and always must be now. Guilt, then, is a way of holding past and future in your minds to ensure the ego's continuity. For if what has been will be punished, the ego's continuity is guaranteed. Yet, and this is key, the guarantee of your continuity is God's, not the ego's. And immortality is the opposite of time, for time passes away, while immortality is constant. What are you guilty of? Are you guilty of things you did poorly as an orphan? Are you guilty for what you thought you did as a figment of your imagination? If you're not guilty, why aren't you awake? See, the ego will stick you somewhere. If you're not guilty, how come you're not awake? Well, you don't have to be guilty in order to not be awake. You simply have to be engaging in something that doesn't work. You simply have to be attempting to do something that's impossible. But because you can't accomplish it, you can't be guilty for it. If you are not guilty for it, there cannot be a penalty for it that is going to take time for you to fulfill before you will be free. If you were guilty of anything, we might have to say that you were guilty of thinking. But remember my opening statement? God did not give you the capacity to think. If you thought you had the capacity to think, and you could actually accomplish it, then you might be guilty. But to be thinking is as much an illusion as the pretend role of being a swashbuckling sailor on the 7 seas. You can seem to engage in it, but nothing is happening. So you're not even guilty of thinking. Now let's be grounded here. If you are engaging in thinking, you are engaging in something you can't accomplish. And engaging in something you can't accomplish does constitute a distraction from truth. The answer is to stop engaging in the distraction. That's all. And so this week, I'm going to invite you to go through your day doing your best to remember for as long as you can, which you'll find won't be very long, but to try to the best of your ability for as long as you can to look at a thing and not think about it. To look at a thing, to embrace the view, whether it's a wide-angle vision or close-up, narrow, focused vision, and just be present with that thing and pay attention. So you have a chatty neighbor, and she's a little bit crotchety, and she's always complaining. And it's not much fun to be around her because everything that comes out of her mouth is some sort of negative, and she happens to be right behind you in the line in the grocery store while you're waiting for the person with a humongous order in front of you that's going to take time. Ordinarily, if you're confronted with this, you place between yourself and this person a barrier of a definition, one that will allow you to discount her or him, one that will allow you to stand there without being touched. You will maintain a picture made up of imaginative thoughts that have, I'm going to say, devolved into a poor definition. But now, here you are, tomorrow or the next day, after I've said, be willing to be present without thinking. What are you going to do? Well, a hint. Try listening below the surface. Try being present with her or him. Listening for what is underneath their behavior, his behavior, her behavior. Listen for their need. You hear the word listen? That's how you shut up thinking. You listen. Listen many times during the day. Practice being present with your world without thinking as often as you can. Like I say, it may only be a fraction of a second before your mind is racing with thoughts. But your intent to do this, brought into play repetitively during the day, will bring you to a point where you're being present with another or being present with a thing without thoughts endures a little bit longer. There's more there of what God is being than what you're seeing. Want to experience it enough to be genuinely and honestly curious and be still. Still the thinking. Still the awful thinking. Still the malicious thinking. Still the judgmental thinking. And still the false, syrupy love that you would embrace them in. Be still. Knowing that in the silence, where you are crossing over the threshold between body and mind identification, you are being the conscious invitation for the experience of God's perspective, which is your true perspective. That's your practice for this week. Now, when we get together next week, I'm not going to ask you how well you did or how many notches you have on your sword. It's not a test. It's a practice at coming back into your right mind. By letting your right mind back in, by abandoning the orphan mentality. Guilt is a tool used in the realm of orphanhood only. And the penalties that it has been decided must be extracted as a result of guilt only seems valid in the realm of orphanhood. Step over the threshold, and the fantasy is gone. And you become an agent for change, a beneficent, benign presence, inspiring those still bound by their sense of orphanhood to let go of it as well. You're here to be an inspiration. The real you, the Christ that you are, is here to be the inspiration that breaks the illusion, that ends the dream, not by doing anything to it, but by not being in it and knowing that you're not in it, so that you know that your brother isn't in it either and can show him the way out. I love you. 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 And I love you. And I love all of you. Join me, all of you, please join me in the silence of honest curiosity and attentiveness. So that we might all be the mouthpiece for God, be the mouthpiece for good, be the mouthpiece, the place where that which inspires healing comes forth and heals. I look forward to being with you next week.